Hello, everybody. Good afternoon to you all. I'm glad you're here. I'm looking for some stencils just to see if I can find some. I know I have Christmas stencils, but they're who knows where. They're here someplace. Hope you guys are having a great afternoon. Hi, Ruth. Denise, Cindy, Linda, Peggy, hello. Hello. Good to see you guys. I'm glad you're here. So indulge me a second as I'm digging through stencils just to see where see if I can unearth the Christmas ones. They're here somewhere. And if I don't find them, we'll use ones that I do have that are, if we get that far. It's good to see you all. It's good to be here. It is Impromptu Wednesday. And if there are other people streaming, please, who have a normal, regular time, please go support them. This is just impromptu and kind of doing stuff because I'm not going to be here Friday. There's the snowflakes. We're making headway. I found the snowflake pattern. You can always watch the recording. Come back and watch the recording. So if you have other people that you want to support, please go do that. And so I've given you my disclaimer. So from there, we're just going to carry on. I had coffee with a friend of mine this morning, which was so nice. She and I have coffee together every week, as much as we possibly can. We have been through some stuff together, and I appreciate her very much. So we always do try to get together and just get caught up on things. And so I did that, and then I have other stuff that I'm supposed to be doing. Guess what? I'm not doing it. I'm here with you guys instead. Alright, I think I've unearthed the only Christmas stencils that I know where they are. So we're going to go from there. How is Ruth today? Hi, Ava and Dorothy. Hello. Good to see you. All right, so let's first of all take a look at what I'm doing. So this is what I did on Monday, which is to take this was a little journal. It was a little journal book. And it's not a big one, because what I'm doing is going to make just a separate journal for December. And so I covered it with fabric and tacky glue. So I covered it with that. Inside, I folded it to the inside. I covered the inside with another piece of fabric. And then on the outside, I covered the outside of it, which had also been covered with duct tape. And I covered that with another piece of fabric. All of that was put on just using tacky glue. So if this doesn't want to stay on later, I'll do something else with it. Who knows? And I'm going to have to do some stuff on the cover, but for now, we're going to call it good. And at this point, it could be either side is up. So I'm going to look at it see which side looks the best. I think this side actually looks better, so I might use that as the front. Okay, so this is not a big journal. It's obviously not thick. I think we may just do one signature. I'm not sure. We're gonna work it out as we go along. Ruth is great today. Good. You know what? I think I threw one of my cup holders away. Talk about dumb. Yeah, I think I threw one of my cup holders away that was on a coffee cup the other day because I can't find it. It was my favorite one too, of course. I think I threw it in the trash accidentally. All right, so I'm just going to make a note here of what my pages are going to be. 5 inches in width, and I think 5 inches will work. And let's see, in height, maybe 7 1/4. So what I did right here is this. I just stuck my ruler into the center of the spine and measured, and I think 5 inches is good. And then I went top to bottom and took off a little bit. So I think 7 1/4. Could be 7 1/2. Yeah, maybe 7 3/8. Isn't that ridiculous to incorporate 1/8 of an inch? But maybe 7 3/8 would be good. We'll find out. Okay, so this is all completely dry now. Everything's good and dry. And I didn't do anything extra to this because it is just a little junk journal type thing. Will it all punch through the thickness? It's not that thick. It's not that thick at all. So it should be fine. It should be fine. If it's not, we'll punt. How about that? Okay, so that means that my pages need to be 10 inches by 7 3/8. So that's what the actual page size needs to be, okay? Because this is just half the page. So we're going to do one, and then we're going to see how it works. We'll fold one. This is a lightweight paper, so we're going to do this. This is B paper, mixed media, B paper. This is this giant pad of paper from Walmart, jumbo artist pad. It's called mixed media. It's only 114 pounds. It's pretty lightweight, but that's what we're going to try. Okay, so I'm just looking. All right, it'll be all right this direction. This is just a little junk. It's kind of a little junk journal. So let's go. Let's try one page and see how it works. So we're going to go 7 3/8 and whack off a page. Whack-a-mole, whack off a page. I hope you guys are having a great day. This is not the rotary cutter that I normally like. Because it's not super sharp. Ugh, and I didn't cut straight. All right, we're gonna start with a different one. I gotta go find my other rotary cutter. I'll be right back. Well, you know where it was? In my car, because isn't that where everybody keeps their tools? Don't get me started. Let's not get me started. Okay. All right, so we're going to cut. We're going to try again. And we're going to try to cut 7 3/8. And I'm going to stand up, and if my head gets in the way, apologies to your viewing pleasure. All right, now we're going to turn this, and I'm breaking my own rule, which is to always have the rotary cutter closed. Don't look, Ethel, don't look. We're going to go to 10 inches. Okay. All right, let's see how this goes. Hello, Starla. You're painting rocks. Good for you. This does kind of feel like construction paper. It is fairly lightweight. And so let's figure out a signature, and then we will figure out how many pages we need for this little journal. Okay, so there's 2. And this is black mixed media paper. And this came from this. It's Canson mixed media black. This is 147 pounds, it says. And it is 9 by 12. So we're going to cut a 7 3/8 tall, because that's what we were using, right? Yeah. 7 3/8 inch tall, so we're going to cut that. I'm just going to do one piece of it, because it's a little heavier than the white stuff. Don't let your ruler move. Okay, so we have that, and then we're going to go 10 inches wide. Have any of you used this Canson black? If you have, I'm curious as to what your experience with it was like. This mat that I cut on, that's on my desk at the moment, although it is a quilting mat, rotary cutting mat, it is not my favorite mat. And it does tend to want to let things kind of move around. So what are you guys doing today? And are you ready for Christmas? Yeah. Right? I know, right? Okay, so there's 3. And I'm going to see about what can we do with this paper. Of course, it's not wide enough for us to get a completely folded signature page out of. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold it in half. I'm going to let the lines go be vertical. This is old notebook paper from somewhere. I have no idea where it's from, but it's all nicely patinaed, and I have a lot of it, so I thought, oh, I'll stick some of this paper in. You can always thicken it up with something else. So I said 5, so it's folded, so I'm going to go 5. Super thin paper. And then, I don't know, shall we leave that stuff up there? Why not? We'll just leave that edge of the paper here. Once I figure out what it is I want to do, it should be okay. Hello, Peg. Hi, Gray. You don't have much use for black. I love it with the Moonlight pens. I do love it with that. Okay, so we have one piece of black mixed media. We have 2 pieces of white, supposedly mixed media. And then 1 piece of whatever this is, you know, notebook paper. Okay, so that gives us, let's say, a title page. Page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then possibly 8. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 4 sets of paper this way, and if it's too much for the book, then we will eliminate papers, because we can always eliminate and cut things down. Okay? All right, good enough. So that's what I'm going to do, and I don't know if it's going to work, and I really don't care because we're making it up as we go along. And I have something really cool. Hello, Dana. I have something really cool to show you here in a minute. We had lunch with some friends of ours who go to Guatemala, and we had lunch with them yesterday, and so I thought I would show you what they gave me. Okay, so this is the 10-inch direction. Yep. Okay, so this is the 10. So let me cut these papers, and then we will look at what they gave me yesterday. That was really nice. This mat likes to let the ruler move around. And when that happens, you just have to punt and straighten things up. And say, it's fine. It's fine. Okay. I hope you guys are having fun. I hope you're doing something fun today. Not just hanging out here watching me. I hope you're doing something. Moved again. Tell you what, I should have done this. Should have done anything. You know what I mean? You should have done anything. You can only do what you can do. And this paper is really smooth, and so that is one of the problems with it. This paper is really smooth. The mat doesn't want to stay, it doesn't want to grip the paper at all. All right, so again, if my head is in the way, I apologize. Okay, so we're going to do that. And I'm going to do one more while I'm here with this paper. And then I'm going to sew these pages in and then kind of get an idea of what I want to do with this little book. Okay. Take all of that and get rid of it. And now we're going to cut these 2 pages to 7 3/8 in height. We're going to attempt to cut it to 7 3/8 in height, and hopefully it's marginally square. And if you have a good paper cutter, you certainly could use that. I got a little Christmas tree put up for the first time in a number of years. I finally put up a Christmas tree. You should have seen the Studley duck when I tried to explain to him about a smart plug to control the lights. Okay, you guys know what a smart plug is? Hopefully you all do. I didn't want to have to turn on and turn off these lights all the time, and so I had some plugs from the Wise company, W-Y-Z-E, the Wise company. And so I put this plug in the wall, and it works through the Wi-Fi. And I was having trouble getting the password there and the account, you know. Sometimes things just don't always all line up. So anyway, but the great part about it is you can schedule it so you can have the lights go on and go off when you want them to. No, explain it to you, Lucy. Okay, Lucy, here you go. So it's a programmable plug that's a smart plug. Works with Wi-Fi, and so you can just tell it when you want it to go on. You can set up different schedules. So you can have schedules like you can come on at 7 in the morning and go off at 9 in the morning. If you're not going to be home, it'll go off, you know. And then you can turn it on in the evening and have it go off before you go to bed. I mean, it's perfect, especially if you have some weird place where there's a plug, which he has behind a huge mirror on the mantle. Yeah. I don't know. It's nice, I guess. I guess it's nice to have that. I don't know. But anyway, when it's behind the big fat mirror on the mantle to control the lighted ceramic Christmas tree, you guys remember those? He has one of those. And so we, once he understood about the Christmas tree that I set up and decorated, it's a small fake tree. Once he got the idea of how that worked, hopefully I'm doing this right. Let me just like check this and make sure before I do a whole bunch of them. Yeah, we'll cut out. We'll adjust the width of these a little bit, maybe. We may. It looks okay. Okay. Anyway, once I got the idea across to him about how he's probably going to pop on here and and fuss at me about it. But once I finally got the idea across to him about how the thing worked, it's control. And he says, "Well, how do you control it?" I said, "I control it with my phone." I have these set up all over my house. They're like the computerized version of timers. You know, I used to have timers in my house, you know, the ones that would control the lights and stuff. And I had those. All right, on this one, I'm going to just, yeah, that's not what I want. Anyway, the mechanical timers, I had those set up around my house. And I'm telling you, those suckers, man, after a while, they start making racket. They start clicking. And I'm like, nope, I can't do that. I cannot. So I was talking to my son about it one day, and he said, "You just need some of the Wise plugs." And I'm like, could you further enlighten me about Wise plugs? And so we got me set up with Wise plugs, which are the Wi-Fi ones. And it took me a fat minute, I have to say. It took me a fat minute to figure out how to use because you have to have an app. Everything requires an app. I mean, you know, the one thing I'm not going to use for me personally, I'm not going to use an app to control my washer and dryer. I am just old school enough that I'm not going to do that. Okay? Not going to do that. But I don't mind controlling my plugs with an app. Anyway, but through the app on the phone, as long as you have Wi-Fi, like I have one light fixture that's on my garage outside the house. Well, that doesn't work worth a bean because the Wi-Fi is not strong enough out there, so I can't program that one here. But anyway, it really is nice. They really are nice when you can control them with your phone. And if I'm even at the other house, and I check the ones here in my house, and they're not working, I can even control them from my phone while I'm elsewhere. When my son is here from California, he does the same thing. You know, sometimes his wife calls him and says, the such and such isn't working. And so he can go into his phone and control the settings on their house from his phone, which I find quite remarkable. On Christmas Eve, real candles, Dorothy. Whoo! That's neat, though. You have a Wise camera? Wise is a great brand. Yeah, I have Wise cameras. I have, yes. When I was taking care of Clausman, that was one of the things that I had to have were cameras. So I have lots of Wise cameras. Most of them at this point are pointed out of my house, not inside my house, which when I put those in my house, the first one, when he finally saw it, he said, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, I know you guys we're almost done cutting, believe it or not. So if you can just hang with me a little bit longer." The first time he noticed one of the cameras, he says, "What's that?" And so I blamed it on my son. I said, "Oh, you know, he needs to be able to keep track of things here in case I need help for something." And Clausman bought it, I think, or else he acted like he did. That was the only way when you're dealing with somebody who's not really able to think very well anymore. That is about the only way that I could be in a different part of the house. So I was constantly monitoring him from either my phone or my iPad, you know, because He never was what's called an elopement risk, which is somebody that will just get out of the house, and that was extremely fortunate. The first time I ever heard that elopement risk, I'm like, what in the world is that? I heard that at not a nursing home, an assisted living place one time, and I'm like, what in the world is that? Anyway, so I don't even know what I was telling you now. Okay, let's put these together. I don't know if I can do this in 2 signatures. Maybe I can do it in 2. We'll see. Okay, so what did I put in this? Let's try this. I put in 2 white pieces. That means I gotta cut some more white pieces of paper. Here, let's put this in. We'll reorder this just a little bit. We'll put... Anyway, so I have a number of Wise cameras, and I had them all over the house. So I had to be a little careful what I said, because of course it recorded. And sometimes, you guys, oh man, sometimes I'd get, sometimes the frustration would overwhelm. Any hoot. All right, let's see how many pages we have here. Not yet. We'll cut 2 more pieces of white paper. Four more pieces of white paper, actually. Let's do 4 more pieces of white paper. And let's go from there. Anyway, if you're not familiar with the smart things, if there's anything about a smart app, a smartphone, a smart plug, a smart anything that can make you feel stupid, is when they name it smart. Yeah. They can make you feel really stupid when the device, whatever it is, smart camera, smart phone, smart folder, smart plug. Sorry about the horrible noise here. But they can make you feel so stupid. Yeah, I have. I've watched them for years, the Crosby family. He was on The Voice, and Claire came out and sang when he was trying out for The Voice. It was really neat. They're quite an interesting family. Okay, let's cut these 4 more pieces of paper. Yeah, smart light bulbs are nice too. I'm not as good with the smart bulbs as I am with other things. I particularly love the plugs, though, you know, and the cameras saved my hiney quite a few times. Although Clausman never tried to escape. He couple times almost got himself in trouble. Okay, so we got those 2. We're going to cut them in width. If you can manage to use a rotary cutter and mat and rulers, your cuts are more accurate, I find, than using a paper trimmer. That's my experience. I don't know. Some people find a different experience. So you kind of got to use the tools that work best for you. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean? All right. My rotary cutter is not super sharp. Okay. And one more cut here, and then we're going to see if we have enough pages for this deal. Okay? But before we do that, I want to show you this gift that they brought me from Guatemala. Okay. Okay, this came from Guatemala. You guys can look this up online. This is a really interesting, here is the website. And this couple goes to Guatemala, and they go several times a year, and they do take people, groups and stuff with them, located in San Juan, La Laguna. It's in Guatemala, empowering the community of Mayan weavers. So it's women who have a way to be able to support themselves. And this couple actually goes up into the villages in Guatemala. They go up the mountain to the various villages. They have put in, they've helped to put in community centers and learning centers for the kids, and it's a whole thing. Anyway, they brought me this, and you'll know immediately why I love it. Look, it's a mandala bowl. Okay, is that beautiful or what? Look at that. All handmade. Okay, and here's the thing. This is, they grow the fibers. They dye the fiber. They grow, harvest, and dye the fibers. Spin them. And this is how long it took to make this small bowl with this pattern. She said usually the pattern is striped as opposed to having this elaborate pattern in it. But is that not the most beautiful thing? And so this one took 5 days. The color, it's made of cotton. It is dyed with lobella, indigo, and guava in these. That's how where the colors came from. But isn't that the most beautiful little thing? And this is the artist that made it. And this is pronounced, I think they said Ishkako or Ishkako. But that's the artist that made it. Isn't that neat? Yeah, I think it's beautiful. Anyway, so it is a mission that this couple supports. The husband used to do a lot of production work. He worked for one of the news stations, the local news stations, and he used to do video reporting on various like human interest stories type things. And so he does helps with some of their, he can go in and do video, and then he can use that to promote this area of Guatemala. There are 2 of the young women from, if I understand it right, there are 2 of the young women from one of the villages that are now studying to be doctors. And what these people do, what the young people do, is once they are educated, they go back into the communities. And so they will be going back into their communities to be doctors there. And anyway, this is very, very special. I will use this bag for something, and also, of course, the bowl. But I brought it here because I wanted you guys to see it. So if you want to look them up, they do sell online, they told me. So if you want to look them up online, that is the website, woven-gt.com. So you can do that. But they do have, over there, they do have a shop, you know, a place where you can go and shop and take things. And the neat thing about it is that the money goes to the, I think they said it's like 80% or something thereabouts, maybe 85% of the money goes to the artist, and the rest of it, which is a very small percentage, goes toward the expenses to keep the center open. Yeah, so it was really neat. Anyway, I just thought I'd share that with you. Okay, let's look at this and see what we have here. Oh, here we got these. We'll fold these pages, these white pages. What kinds of, those of you who have done December dailies or Christmas journals or whatever, what kinds of things do you put in your journals? What do you put in your journals? I'd be really interested to know. Do you record only current events that you're doing, or do you include things like recipes and those kinds of things? What do you put in your particular journal? Or do you do like this one that I showed on Monday night, where this has, you know, different prompts in it and Christmas cards and, you know, all that sort of stuff and some art? Do you do things like this? Or what do you do? Or maybe you don't keep a journal at all at Christmas time or in December because it's just too much, the too muches of the goings on. That could be too. Are you guys still here? Because the chat has come to a screeching halt, which is fine. That is a-okay too. Looks like the chat's a little bit unstable today. I'm just going to put all these pages in here, and then we're just going to see how I want to restructure these pages, because I don't want to put this doesn't have room for 4 signatures in here. There's not enough room in my book. You're still here. Okay. Dorothy's no good at keeping a journal as such. You forgot to fill it in. There you go. There you go. Okay, let's come back and look at this. So I need just a title page. And I was thinking that I would do 2 pages per day, but I think I'm not going to be able to do that. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Well, maybe. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 23, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. Okay. All right. We're just going to punt here because that's what I'm going to do. Okay? Just going to punt. We're going to stick these in here. I'm going to take this one out. So I'm going to make that one journal, one signature, and I'm going to put in a couple more of the white pages here, and I'm going to leave out this other black page just because I think it's just too thick to try to stick that in there. And let's see if we can make this work. Let's see if we can make it work, huh? come to the middle. See if we can get it in one signature, or if we can do. Okay, we're gonna sew it all together in one signature. Yes, we are, and then we're gonna have to cut down the edges. And that is a-okay. Ruth is nowhere near organized enough. Okay. Okay, Ruth. If you're not, and who knows if I can do this. Probably can't, but I'm going to try. Janet Young is going to work in her Beast next year. I'm going to attempt to do that. Yeah, that's cool. Janet loves her Beast. She does. All right, now normally when I do this, I make a template. Okay, I make a template from a piece of cardstock, and I figure out how many pages I want, or how many signature holes I want, and I measure it out and that kind of stuff. And you know what? I'm not going to do that this time. We're going to literally punt with this, so I'm not going to make I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go through here, and I'm going to go here. Well, let's do this. Let's just take our ruler here, and we're going to go, okay, there's about the middle. And I'm going to come in 1/2 inch from the bottom and 1/2 inch from the top. Okay, and we're going to punch some holes and see if we can get this. We're going to go this way. We're going to punch some holes. And this may be one of those that, as Shannon Green says, it may have air holes before this is over with. Okay, let go. This is a piercing cradle that I'm using. So when I pierce through this, it goes all the way through because there's a little crack. And I'm just, because it's thick, I'm kind of having to punt a little bit here. That's all right. You just kind of work with what you got, you know? So there is my other one. Okay, all right, good enough. So what I want to do now is, let's see if we can make this work. We're going to call this the top of this signature, okay, the top. Hey, CB. Elton says, Barb should have found a smart husband. The work these two retired teachers have done in the 12 years since retirement is truly amazing. Who are we talking about? Who are we talking about, Elton? Never mind, you can tell me later. All right, so I'm going to put this in my book here. Let's see. Did I want that to be the top or this to be the front? This to be the front, I think. Doesn't matter. Until I start working in it, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so let's see if we can manage this. All right. So basically my holes are going to go there, there, and there. Okay? So I've just marked 3 places for the holes. All right, let's see if we can kind of guess it's the middle about there. This is going to be one of those by guess and by gollies. If it doesn't work out exactly the way I want it to, we're going to always wish it had. Okay, and we're going to do one more here. And I'm just guessing it's the middle, you know, because I'm just want to get it. We just want to see if it's going to work. If it isn't going to work, oops, oh well. Okay, so we're putting this in here. It looks like those holes might match up. They might. They might match up, and if they do, yay. Okay, so binder's needles. You can use any kind of needle that you need to. These happen to be actually called binder's needles. They are supposed to be blunt point, which I don't find them to be very blunt. I find them to be a little on the sharp side, so you got to be a little careful. All right, and they just fold up inside this little paper package, which I happen to like stuff like that. So I put it back. And then this is waxed linen thread. That's right, CB, close enough for government work. That is so true. All right, I'm going to go 3 lengths of my spine and a little bit more because I don't know why you have to do that, but I think it's the rule. All right, let's see if this works, shall we? And then we're probably going to have to cut down the leading edge of the signature because I think it's going to be too big, too fat, too long, too wide for it to fit inside the book. But we're going to wait and find out because it's much better if you wait and find out, as she says. All right, let's try it. Let's go for the middle. So we're going to see if we can get this needle. Oh, look, first try. The needle came all the way through the middle signature. That's pretty good. All right. I'm going to stick this wax linen tail under that clamp right there just because, in an effort to not pull it all the way through my book. I'm going to go through the center hole of the cover. And now you got to come through one end hole. Doesn't matter which end you do. So I'm going to come through this end. And now we try to thread this back through the hole in the signature. This is often where it gets tricky. Trying to come back through the signature. So sometimes I end up having, oh, good fortune. Fortune has smiled upon us. That was a lucky shot. All right, so we have one long stitch on the outside of the book at the moment. I'm going to come all the way through. This is called a pamphlet stitch if you've never seen this done before. I'm going to come all the way to the opposite end, to the other hole at the opposite end of the signature, and then go through the cover. Hopefully we find the right hole. I won't tell you what Elton says about holes because sometimes he's not very politically he says things that can't be repeated in polite society. So don't ask him, okay? He's supposed to be working, so don't ask him. I'm going to find the hole here. If they think this is a blunt point on this needle, they are full of beans. They are full of beans, let me tell you. This is far from a blunt point on this needle. You could stab yourself in a heartbeat. Okay, then we got to come back through the middle again. Okay, back through the middle of the book cover. Okay, so it's coming back through the book cover. Try not to split your thread. And then we got to come back through the signature one more time. This is a big, thick, fat signature. And so this could take a minute to get this to come all the way back through the signature. And this is exactly why we're only doing 3 holes in this bookbinding adventure. Because it's hard enough to get through the holes one time, but when you got to go through one twice, it's a pain in the tush. Okay, so if you have trouble getting it to go through, then what you do is you start taking a few pages. This is where you can get air holes, like Shannon Green tells us, where you poke different holes than you intended to. Because what you got to do is go all the way back through the middle of the signature again. And it's being very ornery here, so we're going to have to alright. If all else fails, you may have to go through them just a few pages at a time. Okay, it's being real ornery, so just, and we don't want it to go there. It is truly wanting to go, it's wanting to seek its own place for the needle to go. And you know what? I'm just stubborn enough that I want it to go where I want it to go, not where it wants, where it thinks it should go. And this is where, when you're doing things live, that the rest of the world goes, oh, for pity's sake, why would you try and do that live on camera? And the answer is because. Just because. And this is also the part that if you were not doing it live, you would edit this out. I need to get a thimble, so hang on, everybody. And the other thing that may help this endeavor here with this middle hole situation, air holes are just extra, aren't they? Let's try going back the other direction. I know you guys are just loving me for this. I'm going to try to come back the other direction through the signature. Okay, so I've come back with a separate needle just to see if holding all this jazz together will let us, now don't let it move, Barb. Let's see if we can stab it through that hole that we just confirmed. Of course not. that we confirmed with the other needle. Nope, of course not. Ta-da! Okay, we got it. Huh, mercy. I'm telling you, this is where you say, mercy me. That's where you have to be persistent. Whew, we all say hallelujah. Yeah, we do. Okay. Now, we're going to snug up the tails of the thread. And look at your stitches out here, and they're not exactly straight with the world, and that's okay. And it is what it is. So we're pulling the two tails of the thread. There's one on each side of this long stitch, which goes from here to here. And then I tie it, and then I tie it the opposite direction. And this is wax linen thread. So it will help to lay down and be nice and stick there. Okay. Whoo! I'll tell you what, my son says to me all the time. He gives me so much grief about saying, I tell you what. He gives me so much grief about that. He's just so ornery. All right, so is this perfect from end to end? No, it is not. Whoops. It'd be helpful if you could see. There's a little more space up here than there is down here, but, you know, oops, oh well. Everybody can breathe now. Hi, Signa. All right, so we have one signature. That's all I put in here. At this moment, I've called this the top, but I'm thinking that I may turn it over and use this as the top. I don't really know why, but you know, it just feels like that should be the top. So we're gonna take this off. And we're gonna go the top this way, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to just write top. Go in that direction. Okay. Wow, that was a struggle, wasn't it? Now, when I close this book and look at the front, this is called the leading edge, I can decide if I want to cut off some of these, skinny up some of this, because anytime you have one signature like this, when it closes up, you're going to have these pages that are going to creep out, and that is, I believe what it's called is the creep factor. And so you can actually cut off some of this if you want, or you can leave it and just add more crap to it, like tabs and things like that, and let that be a part of the journal. And you know what? I think that's a brilliant idea, to just let it have extra stuff out there, don't you think? That's what I think. All right, let's get rid of these. I can always cut that off later. And I have a book press, and so I may put it in the book press and let this get trained a little bit more, or I can put it under a stack of heavy books, or I can just be happy with it having an alligator mouth. That really doesn't bother me a whole lot. Okay, so I'm going to put my little package of needles back. I'm going to stick all my little needles back in here, because it would be way too simple to put these in one of the multitudes of Altoid tins I have. It's much better if you horse around with the paper, don't you think? Okay, so let's play around with this for a moment. Let's put a title on this, shall we? let's see if this is going to work with this. Oh, good enough. Good enough. Let's see what we have here. You know, I ran across a whole bunch. Oh, yeah, I got these. I ran across a whole bunch of things recently, and there's this. Doesn't really go with the. We did this on stream, this one. That one's already stuck down to a card, so we can't really do anything with that. I'm just looking at some of the stuff I had here already. This is kind of a nice one. There's some trees here. Actually, I like that. I didn't really intend to do this, but you know, ooh, I like that with those. Maybe we'll do that with those real squiggly trees. Okay, let's play with that idea. Yeah, Elton is talking about the Guatemalan piece that I showed you. It's Ron and Sally Widbin. And so if any of you want to facilitate it is a ministry, but it's a ministry that's not like most ministries. It's a ministry that actually, oh, how am I going to say this? You know, some ministries go into places and they do things, but they do things to help people, but they maybe don't make a lasting change. You know what I mean? They don't make a lasting change in the lives of the people. What Ron and Sally are doing is they are going into the community and they are helping to facilitate lasting changes through education and really helping people. So things like, for example, there was one family that the father in this family passed away. I don't even know what happened. Don't even know. But the father in the family passed away, and they could not, it's such a poor family area and all of that, that they could not give him a proper burial in a coffin. And so I don't know if it was Ron and Sally themselves or they had other people help them or what, but they bought a coffin for this family so that they could actually bury the husband of the family. It's those practical kinds of things that give these families dignity that they're going in and doing. That was an isolated incident. The rest of the time they are doing things like Sally was a teacher. She's a retired teacher, and so she goes into the community and she teaches the teachers and helps with that. So hello, Alicia. So anyway, I think Elton is a little bit behind in the chat, so that's why he doesn't understand the live button yet. I'm working on him, but you know, there you go. Okay, let's look at this again. So I'm liking these trees, and so you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to cut them out. This was a Christmas card that I jelly plate printed. And I don't really care about saving all the bits and pieces of things. But that woven stitched bowl is something I will cherish. It is really beautiful. In fact, you can excuse me, something like that, I will probably at least think about putting on the Christmas tree, adding a hanger, and even though it's a little bowl, hang it up on the tree. Okay, we're gonna go right down here. Okay, and these pieces will be good for something else someday. Who knows when, but for some time in the future. Okay, so let's cut this off. Don't ask me why I'm doing this, because I just don't know. I just figured, I saw it in with my pens and things. As I was straightening up, I clearly had stuck these cards in there because I'd shown them on stream the other day. And so I thought, I saw them and I thought, oh, that could make a really pretty first page. So what we're going to do is I'm going to glue these on here. Maybe I'm going to put them down at the bottom of the page. And I'm going to let this hang off the edge, and then I will fix that later. Okay. Piece of trash paper. And this is, I don't know that this is going to be able to stick on there with anything other than tacky glue. Maybe with this. We'll find out if this works. This is the art glitter glue. The trick with this stuff is you got to get it on there quickly enough that it doesn't dry before you get it stuck on your page. So let's see how fast we can work. All right, go back over a little bit. I don't know, we'll find out, won't we? And there's going to be some glue that's going to come seeping out over the black mixed media paper. And you know what? That is just the how of it. And if I need to, I'll come back and that's the beauty of this little needle tip. You can come back later and scooch a little bit of glue under the edge if you need it. But one of the things that's an advantage with that art glitter glue, it's the advantage and the disadvantage. It dries so fast, you know? And that's a great advantage. It's also a great disadvantage. Okay, come on, skinny off the edge. There we go. Okay. All right, now that I know that the trees are pointing up, I can get rid of top. I don't need that little directive anymore. I can get rid of that, okay? All right. So let's take this little star here. So I'm going to cut out one of these stars. This was from a stencil. And I don't know what stencil it was from. Oh, I know what I did. I cut stars out of Tyvek. So I made masks, not stencils. It was not a stencil. It might have started as a stencil in its former life. It might have been a stencil at one point. And I probably have some star punches here, but you know, why make it simple when you can make it complex? Am I right? So let's take this star. First of all, let's get rid of a little bit more of the blue. No, let's not. Let's leave it alone. And let's cut some more stars using some of the jelly plate printed stuff that's already here. I'm making this up as I go along, you guys. You all understand that, right? We're making it up as we go along. And, okay, those won't fit. Let's come over to this one. We need a total of 4 stars if we're going to put stars on the tree, on each tree. And I really don't care about what this card is. I'm cutting up a card that I fixed already as a card. It doesn't matter. This is just art material to me. Okay, there's a second one, and then let's get one out of here, and let's use this green section where it has the texture from the plate. Are you guys all doing okay? I hope you are. Not a lot of conversation going on today, so I feel like I'm talking to myself. But you know what? The truth is, that's not unusual. I talk to myself quite a bit. I could tell you all kinds of things about that, but no. Okay, so I'm just going to chunk these stars out because it's a whole lot easier to cut small things, to trim out small things, than to try to save the material around the stars. Okay, so there we go. Now, we need one tiny one, so I think we're going to take this one that we already cut out, and we're going to just make it, let's make it smaller. And it could be even smaller, but you know. Okay, but it's something to start with. Okay, so this little star can go on here like so. So it's a little star on this little tree. All right, so we'll do that. And let's see what this star wants to be when it comes out of the paper. Have any of you been to Guatemala? That's a good question. We're hoping to get to go there before too long to actually meet some of the people and see some of the opportunities that there are to help. And for Christmas, there are 2 of the students the 2 that are here in the States doing work, college work, that can't go home for the holidays, and so they are going to be with Ron and Sally, and so we're hoping to get to have lunch with them and get to know them a little bit. I think that'll be great. Also, I don't know what made me flash on this, but you know, the other day I was showing you, a couple streams ago, I was showing you a bunch of ideas for Christmas kinds of things, and I showed you the wiggly Christmas trees that I did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can go back and look that up. It was a couple of streams ago. And Noit was in the audience. Noit lives in Israel, and she is Jewish, and she made wiggly dreidels and candles, and there was another one that she did. She showed them on Instagram. So if you want to go see another idea for doing something based on the wiggly trees, which, you know, I would love to tell you where the idea came from. I don't remember. Go take a look at Noit's Instagram. I think that's cute. I think it's cute. Okay. Let's put the tiny one on first so we don't lose it. All right, that was the tiny one, right? We'll put that, I think it was. Let's put it on quick before I lose it. All right, we're just gonna, let's put it this way. And I'm gonna let them sort of go off at jaunty angles. Okay, jaunty angles. All right, let's put this one. Which way do we want it? This way, this way. We'll do it this way. I like it this way. And this black paper is Canson Black Mixed Media Paper. I think I got it at Walmart, but I couldn't tell you for sure. The backside of nowhere, Alabama. There you go. Oh, Ruth, I'll tell you what. See, there I go, saying it again. If Race was here, he would be giving me all kinds of trouble. I tell you what. His dad had two favorite expressions. Let's go this way. One was be on the safe side. You had to be on the safe side. We never knew what the other side was. But he always wanted to be on the safe side. And the other one was get ahead of the game. And again, we didn't know what game he was playing or what game he was trying to get ahead of. But he always wanted to get ahead of the game and be on the safe side. And apparently, my expression, one of them must be, I tell you what. Because he likes to remind me of that. All right, let's angle this one a little jaunty-ish the other way. And I've broken my own rule because most of the time I use only odd numbers of things. But you know what? There wasn't room for an odd number tree there, so we're going to use an even number for this one. All right. I'm trying to put the pin back in the tip. I see. Ruth doesn't get out from under a rock very often. Oh, yes. All right. So there we go. We have a beginning of our page. at the beginning of the book, which normally I don't do that. Normally I don't start on the very first page. Normally I think, you know, what would be fun is just put this big old star over here, because I don't know why. It's just because. It's just because. And this is going to have well, Ruth, you beat me because I got married at 19. All right. You're probably not going to open. You moved when you were 19. I got married at 19. My parents were definitely not happy that I got married at 19. They certainly weren't happy that I married Claus Man. Woo! They got used to it, though. They surely did not think that me marrying Claus Man was a good idea at all. Well, I tell you what. Oh, see, he's made me so self-conscious of that. I'm just going to put some glue on this. This was laying on my desk. We did this the other day, this star. I'm going to put some tacky glue on it. I'm going to see if I can get most of it, because I put out too much. I'm going to see if I can get a lot of it back off. And I think I know what we can do over here. All right, let's put this right here. Don't ask me why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm just doing it. I've been married 48 years. Yep, I was married 48 and a half. 48 and a half. No, I meant I got married at 19, Ruth, not you, me. Alrighty. What if we take this big tree and we cut her down, cut her out of this card. I'm going to put some more glue on this tree. Like, whoop, see. Excuse me, I got the hiccups now. It's funny how we all develop our own expressions. And how they stick with you. We have those words. One of those words for me is the word so. Let's stick that tree right up in under that star. And let that tree, that gives us an odd number of trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Perfect. You're not good at math. It's okay. It's okay, Ruth. The great part about tacky glue is it will roll off your fingers, roll off your hands. Now, it may take a minute, especially if you glue something into it like Kleenex, like I just did, instead of a baby wipe. I grabbed a Kleenex because it's what's on my desk. So it's going to take a minute to get that off. But that way we have a place to begin. And now, what are we going to do next? Well, I think we should decorate the tree, don't you? Yeah, ta-da is right. Let's decorate the trees. All right, so let's take this big tree because it's the one that's in the middle, or it's the biggest. So let's decorate this tree. Let's let it come down in front. So I'm just giving myself some little lines here. Should we? Yeah, we'll let that little baby tree be in the background. Okay, let's let that little tree be in the back. All right, so we have those. I just put some lines on there so I kind of know what the tree is going to do. And if I had a cap on this glue, I don't know if I did. Let's get some pins. And let's yeah, another one of those horrible words that we use. And I'm not going to pay much attention to the back of these, the design on these trees. I'm just going to give it some lights or some garland. But this way will just let us kind of have a place to begin. There we go. All right. Now, let us get out some pins. Somewhere I have glaze pins in this mess. Or these gold pins. Maybe we'll try this gold pin. Just something that might show up. Okay? Oh, here are the glaze pins. Good grief. If they'd been a snake, they would have bitten me. So let's start out. Let's try the green glaze pen, see if it wants to work for us today. Sometimes they want to work and sometimes they're just ornery because... Nope, it's not going to work. Sometimes they're ornery because they have been sitting around. I'm scratching it off on a piece of paper to see if it wants to work. I don't know. Let's try it. So this is a glaze pen by Sakura. It's not going to work on the black. I forgot about that. That's all right. We'll go back with a paint pen. And we'll add so I'm just putting the strings on the tree. Just having a place to begin. And let's draw this tree, the outline of the tree. And sometimes what happens when you do this is that the paint will grab your pen and take it off in its own jaunty angle. I'm just going to work on top of the tree just a little bit. To outline it a little bit. It does take the glaze pens a fat minute to dry. And if you're a little bit wiggly in with your hand, you just consider it the hand of the artist. I am starting to get to a point where I need to go get some food. Let's see if I can avoid putting my hand right in the wet pen. What do you think? So it just makes things stand out a little bit more. And let's see if we've got a moonlight pen, which should show up on the black. And so let's see if I can complete these strings with the moonlight pen and see if they'll show up. As it dries, it should show up on against the black a little bit more. Okay, let's go to, just while we're here, hey Kathy, let's give the stars some light. Give them a bit of a glow. Okay, so we have some glowing stars there. We have the beginning of some garland or some light string, a light string or something going on there. Let's go to grab a different color. So I've got some Poscas, some Posca paint pens. So let's grab a couple of Posca colors. And let's see if we can put some ornaments on these little, I don't know if these are lights or what they are, but let's put some. And I won't do all of them. We'll just do this one. How about that? Because I really do have to go get some food here in a second. I did blue already. Did pink. All right, let's do some red. Because why not? And then surely we have some yellow here somewhere. All right. So we have some lights on the tree, and then to give them a little more presence, it's good if you take something that's a fine black pen of some kind. Maybe we can use this. I'm looking for one that's going to give me the line I want. This is a fine, fine little black pen. The reason I'm skipping the yellow is because that was super wet. So I'm going to give it a second to dry. And then if I want to hook them onto the string, it's what you do. You just hook them on. So I'm going to just put a little string, just a little hook. Okay, so that's just using a tiny, tiny little black pen to outline them just enough so that they look like they're hooked onto whatever it is, garland. These are lights or strings or whatever. And then one last thing that I want to do before I take off here is, I don't know what color I want to use, so that's why I'm kind of hemming and hawing. Let's see, did I try this green to see if it worked? Yeah, it works, but not super fantastically. All right. So what I'm going to do is use my pencil and just in my own handwriting, as crazy as it might be, alright, so I've just kind of written it in my own handwriting, and now we'll see if I can manage to retrace that sorta, kinda, in whatever color this is. And I'm just adding a few little dots here and there, because when in doubt, dot, okay? That's the rule. That is the rule. When in doubt, dot. And if you need to, you can always add a few more dots here and there to embellish even further. But I'm going to stop with that just for this one, just because that's what I'm going to do. And over here on these, I think what we'll do is just add a few ornaments over here. Let's see if I can find my gold and silver pins. I have gold anyway. Oh, I have silver. And I have whatever this color is. I think I have a turquoise somewhere too. These are metallics. Okay, let's just put some ornaments on this tree. And this is a Posca paint pen. Just trying to get enough of the pigment combined with the carrier in the pen to make a nice presence with the gold. They don't all have to be the same size, of course. And this one I think is silver. So we had kind of a mauve-y color, a gold, and a silver. Okay. All right, let's give that just a shot of heat and to dry those. And I'm not going to dry them entirely. I'm just going to kind of give it a little heat. And then I'm going to come back with a silver. I think I have a silver pen here. Yes. A little silver one, which may or may not work. It doesn't look like it wants to. We will try this one. It's a metallic of some kind. Alright, let's see if we can put a little top on each one of the ornaments. Just one of those little, you know, those little things that you got to pull out, or that do pull out so easily. Whatever, you know, whatever those things are that hold they hold the wire. So I'm just going to put a little thing up there at the top of each little ornament. Might give it a little bit more presence here. I was kind of stingy with my toppers. Now, you could add candles or candy canes or whatever you want. All right, now let's come back and let's see if I can work my way down the tree without sticking my hand in anything too much. And we're going to act like that is hooking it on the tree. These are just for fun. I'm making it up as I go along. Okay, so we have some ornaments on the big tree, but then it seems like there should be a few red berries. Oops, I missed one. It's probably not the only one. Nope, it wasn't. And maybe we'll just add a few little sparkles of red. That just might be some little berries that are on the branches of this tree. but different than the ornaments, a different size, a different scale. Okay, so we have a few little red berries on there. It's just little doodly things, you know, just little doodly doos. That's not going to work, so we're going to switch to a black micron pen and just give it a little bit of a wiggly outline. And then again, let's just kind of wiggle around. Fabric is notorious for catching the pen and making it take off and go weird, do weird things. So because it will do that, just emphasize it. And just let it be wiggly on purpose. Okay? Just let it be that. And you can always come back and you can hang some, pretend that that's little light strings or something, and you can just add a few more little red dots or berries or whatever. You could use other colors as well. And just puts a little extra something on the edges of your little tree. Yeah? Okay, so with that, you guys, I'm going to call it a day. That gets us started, and who knows how this will morph and become something else, but it gives me a place to begin, and then I can just start playing around with the pages in here. It's got places I can put photographs, I can put journaling, I can add more, of course, to these trees. You know, it's places to do collage and who knows whatever else. Yeah. Okay. Hey, Barbara Clark. It's fun to do. You know, it doesn't have to be anything special. It can just be for fun. And you saw I cut up cards that I'd already made. I just cut pieces out of that. It could be Christmas cards that you have that you've received in the mail. You know, you can just play around with it. And usually when I do stuff like this, you know, even as just folk arty and goofy as it looks, most of the time this kind of stuff ends up to be my favorite stuff that I do, because it's coming from that place of not planning and just let it happen and see what happens, see what shows up. Okay, that's it for today. I'm gonna go. I gotta go eat some lunch. And I'm hoping that I will have a chance to come back tomorrow. That's my plan, is to come back tomorrow and stream. I will not be here on Friday, so I'm hoping I can be here. Well, I was here today, and I'm hoping I can be here tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. If I'm here, I'll see you. If I'm not, I'll see you next week. How's that? How's that grab you? All right. Do something cool for somebody else. Do something nice. Check out that, this. If you didn't see it earlier, go back and check out woven-gt.com. It's that Guatemalan Mayan women that do beautiful fiber art from beginning to end. So check that out if you want to, and I will see you hopefully tomorrow. So until then, remember to get creative today, because you know it's easy. You saw it happen right here before your eyes. And I'll see you soon. Bye for now.